Hello, so today I'm showing you guys a simple way on how you can replant your plants into bigger pots. So not everyone is comfortable with replanting their plants, which is understandable because you spent time growing your plants and the last thing you want to do is accidentally damage it and potentially kill it really. So there's no shame in trying to find help for it. It is quite simple how to repot them if you've done it before. So before we start, we are going to need a couple of things before we can replant our plants. The first thing we're going to need is plant pots that are bigger than the pot that is holding the plant currently. Usually about a couple inches bigger. You can go slightly bigger if you wanted to by basically doubling it, or you can go massive and go really over the top, but that's for plants that are going to grow really big. When you've got plants like these which won't grow massive but they need more roots to flower, usually going up a couple more inches to a bigger pot is usually better. And also the pot should have holes at the bottom of it. The reason for that is you do want drainage and you want to be able to see the roots at the bottom. Because like here, you can see the roots in this plant, but usually if there's loads of them there, it's a good sign that it needs replanting again. So the second thing we're going to need is more compost or soil. If you've got a composter and the soil's ready, use that. But if not, what you're going to have to do is use some already made compost from the store and use that. Whatever you do not use the soil from your garden. This is the soil from my garden. At the moment I'm doing a renovation project, so I've got plenty of soil laying around, and this here is basically almost fully clay, and the roots will not be able to go through that. You want soil that is very easy for the roots to get through. Because we're replanting it, we don't want the roots to have any problems getting through the soil, so the best thing to do is to get the softer soil, because you don't want the plant to struggle in its new pot. Okay, so now we've got the plant that we want to replant, and we've got our plant pot. Now we just simply add some soil to the bottom of it. Because the plant pot is bigger and it's deeper than what the plant is already in, you want to create a base at the bottom. So when you put the plant in, basically it should be near enough level or slightly lower than the top of the pot. Right, so now when it comes to removing the plant from the pot, there are two ways we can do this. If it's a flimsy plastic container, hold the plant gently. We don't want to rip the plant out. Just try and squeeze the bottom of the plant. What this is going to do is loosen the roots up. Because what happens now, we can grab the whole of the plant and lift it out completely, like that. Or, if it's being even more stubborn, what you can do is turn it upside down, if it's a single pot, tap it, and then it should slowly come out like that. Try and do this when it's dry because the roots will stay intact better. This one's a little bit wet, so it's not as firm as this one. What we want to do now is try and separate some of the roots of the plants outwards. You don't want to put it straight in like this, because what's happened is where the roots have been used to the pot, they're going in ways that are basically blocking each other, and the roots are not going to be able to spread out as much. So what you're going to have to do is be gentle with the roots, is basically try and pry them open like this without damaging them. So what this is doing is once it goes in, instead of the roots all being in directions that are going to basically cross each other, they should all now go separate ways, so they should enter the soil and take up basically the new pot space. And then once you've done that, you simply put it in your nice new pot, and then you want to get your soil and fill it in the areas around the pot to fill it all in. Now the important thing now is to pat down all the areas inside, because you want the soil to basically go down in the areas, because then what you can do then is put in more soil, because you want to pack it out, like I said, so it's just below the lip of the pot. And now last thing we do is simply just give it a good watering. Now what you want to do is put it in an area where it's not going to be in direct sunlight for a couple of days. You're going to have to keep it moist though. Keep watering it, but don't over water it. The reason why we put it there in an area where the sun can't get to it is because the plant might go into shock. The reason why the plants go into shock is basically the same as if you was in like a deep sleep and someone basically pushed you out of bed. You're going to be all disorientated. You're basically affecting as well with its roots, the main source of like all the nutrients and stuff which it goes up to. So the plant might be in a bit of panic in a way. It's better to put into conditions where, say like extreme sun would put more stress onto the plant, or drought will put more stress on the plant. You try and make it easier for the plant to basically bed into its new pot. A good example is this plant here. I had to repot it because it wasn't doing very well, but once you start seeing it grow leaves, you know that the roots are taken to it now and the plant is starting to move positively. So you could probably put it somewhere where you can get a bit more sunlight. So you can also plant plants like this into much bigger pots like this The same simple way applies. Same thing again, you want to keep it nice and wet once the plant is planted in here, and try and keep it out of the sun. And then once you start seeing new shoots of the leaves, then you know that the plant is starting to root properly, and you can put it where you intended to put it, right in the sun. So hopefully this little explanation on how to replant plants helps, and like I said, not everyone's done it before. It is a bit scary because you don't want to damage your plant, and yeah, hopefully this helps, and good luck on replanting your plants.